Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin today's ceremony. Please silence all electronic devices, ensure you maintain social distance, and continue wearing a face mask. Additionally, for those included to participate in singing the Air Force song, the lyrics have recently changed. Please see the back of your program for reference. For those joining us virtually, please ensure your microphone is muted. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Captain James Trimble, and I will be the narrator for today's change of command ceremony, where we recognize the change of leadership of the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron from Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Parsons to Lieutenant Colonel Scott Davis. During the course of today's events, there will be several times at which those in attendance will be asked to stand. During the national anthem, military members will stand at attention. It is appropriate for civilian guests to place their right hand over their heart. From ancient times, armies throughout the world have conducted ceremonies to commemorate victory over the enemy, to honor comrades in arms, and to celebrate special occasions such as changing of the command. In modern times, the primary purpose of the change of command is to allow units to witness the formal transfer of total responsibility, authority, and accountability from one officer to another. These ceremonies have added color and pageantry to military life while preserving tradition and stimulating esprit de corps. Our goal today is to continue the change of command tradition while recognizing the geographical constraints and the current global conditions of the world we are currently in. We are grateful to Lieutenant Colonel Parsons and his hard work for the accomplishments in commanding the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron, and we hope the ceremony will provide a sense of closure while acknowledging the transition of Lieutenant Colonel Davis as the new commander. Please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Staff Sergeant Justin Cunningham and the invocation given by Chaplain Sean Bishop.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I invite you to pray with me. Lord God, it is good to pause this morning before our human experience today to honor you and to ask for your guidance and blessing. Lord, as we prepare for this change of command and for the future in general, work in us, develop us, wake us, open our eyes and ears. May we be those who honor you and exude a type of goodness and hopefulness that we need to experience with each other and that our world, nation, and community needs. May we be those who help and energize and look to and for goodness. On this day, we give thanks to you for your servant Kevin Parsons. Bless Lieutenant Colonel Parsons in this time of transition and on his way to Air War College. May he and his family and the squadron reflect on these 2 years and smile and give thanks. Bless Femur together with Rebecca, and also Ella May, Grace, Ruby, and Levi. May their journey to Maxwell and this next chapter be a blessing and be full of faith in you. Lord, as your servant Scott Davis prepares to take this guide on and command this squadron, prepare him for the days ahead and call to mind in him the ways you have already been preparing him for this next responsibility. You put him together as your created human. Keep him in touch with you as his creator. Guide and bless him, and may he and this squadron bond well together for a bright future. Bless him together with Alyssa, and also Hannah and Joshua, as they take this next step into a new community. Lord, we are mindful of the way things have changed, and that there are things beyond our control to which we must adjust and change. I am thankful for the character of both of these leaders to ask for prayer for those from the squadron who were deployed long beyond their expectations and those expectations of their families. Bolster those who serve away from here, from the 93rd, and in all our armed forces. Be with their families who wait for them and look to their safe return. May your provision and support be present to them. Thank you, Lord, for the privilege to encounter you. Amen.
Thank you, Staff Sergeant Cunningham, for the beautiful rendition of the national anthem, and Chaplain Bishop for those inspiring words. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. At this time, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the official party. The Commander, 92nd Operations Group, Colonel Russell Davis. The outgoing commander, Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Parsons, accompanied by his wife Rebecca, his daughters Ella May, Grace, and Ruby, and his son Levi. The incoming commander, Lieutenant Colonel Scott Davis, accompanied by his wife Alyssa, his daughter Hannah, and his son Joshua, his mother and father Vicky and Jerry Davis, and his brother and sister-in-law Eric and Molly Davis. To help recognize the importance of the ceremony, we are joined today by a number of special and distinguished guests. The commander of 92nd Air Refueling Wing, Colonel Derek Salmi. The vice commander, 92nd Air Refueling Wing, Colonel Gene Jacobus. The command chief, 92nd Air Refueling Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Jason Hodges. We would also like to thank all group, deputy group, and squadron commanders, honorary commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, and members of Team Fairchild in attendance virtually today. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it is my pleasure to welcome the presiding officer for today's ceremony, Colonel Davis.
Well, hey, good morning, everyone. That was an outstanding rendition of our nation's national anthem. Staff Sergeant Cunningham, thank you so much. How about a round of applause for that? That was amazing. A+, you just do an amazing job with that. That's a tough song to sing, and you make it just sing beautifully. So thank you for being here today. Colonel Salmi, Colonel Jacobus, Chief Hodges, fellow group commanders, chiefs, other distinguished guests in the actual and virtual audience, and the men and women of the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron. Thank you for attending today's change of command ceremony. Before we get started, I also want to thank our chaplain for doing that amazing blessing for this amazing event. So having both of you here reminds us of the solemnity and significance of today's events. Thank you for that, Chaplain Bishop. It's my honor to officiate this ceremony where we will formally transfer command of the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron from Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Femur Parsons, Femur, you're going to hear that a lot today, Femur for the didn't know, and Lieutenant Colonel Scott Davis. Davis, awesome last name. However, before we make the change official, I'd like to highlight some of Femur's incredible accomplishments and the legacy that he leaves behind. For starters, FEMR was Air Mobility Command's lead tanker planner and executor for the command's largest and longest full-spectrum readiness exercise, Mobility Guardian 2019. He spent countless days away from home in the year leading up to the exercise, ensuring the 5 nations that were to come together to form the 621st Expeditionary Air Refueling Squadron were going to get the training and integration they needed to fight and win our nation's future wars. During the Mobility Guardian exercise, FEMR commanded the 621st Expeditionary Air Refueling Squadron, bringing together and expertly leading 17 air crews from air refueling squadrons throughout the U.S. Air Force, to include aircraft and crews from 4 partner nations, perfectly delivering the high-end training needed to produce game-changing combat effects for the future fight. He did all this while continuing to lead the men and women from the 93rd. Under his direct leadership of the 93rd, I witnessed the unit emerge from a group of airmen that were tired, frustrated, and questionably mission-ready to an organization that is now high-performing, happy, and performing at levels rarely seen by a KC-135 squadron. His compassionate and caring leadership brought the unit together to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the activation of the squadron in a fun and meaningful way. Ushered in the game-changing squadron deployment model for the 92nd Air Refueling Wing, an initiative designed to increase the predictability and stability of our aircrew, which was desperately needed. All while emphasizing mission readiness as the cornerstone of his command, producing enviable mission readiness rates throughout your tenure. Most recently, 96% of his aircrew are ready to come to our nation's call at any time. Just phenomenal. To cap it all off, FEMR's leadership led the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron's wing nomination for the 2019 Spats Trophy. This prestigious award is reserved for the best air refueling squadron in the U.S. Air Force. The wing nomination illustrates the high esteem myself and Colonel Salmi held in the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron under FEMR's leadership. Nominating the 93rd was an easy choice, as they played a pivotal role in the wing's many successes during all of our major muscle movements in 2019. To include the previously mentioned Mobility Guardian exercise, multiple wing nuclear exercises, including the wing's first ever off-station generation exercise, all while providing outstanding support to our deployed warfighters. His time in command had many challenges, not the least of which is the COVID-19 environment that we are currently in today. His airmen bared the brunt of this mess, and that many of those that were supposed to deploy for 120 days, which was the longest planned KC-135 deployment to date, were forced to continue their deployment indefinitely due to the ever-changing global pandemic. He took care of those families at home, waiting for their loved ones to return, and those airmen anxiously awaiting words on when they could redeploy. And I'm happy to announce that the last remaining 93rd ARS airmen deployed now for over 7 months will be returning in the coming weeks. FEMR's direct engagement and kind and compassionate leadership have brought this difficult situation to a happy ending for the warriors of the 93rd. Well done, FEMR. None of this was done alone. FEMR had a team of outstanding fellow leaders to include squadron commanders and others, 93rd Airmen with a capital A, and of course, his family to help along the way. Becca, you set the standard for spousal leadership within the operations group and wing. Your role as a key spouse mentor, confidant, advisor, and wife of 16 years have set the conditions for Kevin's success. You also leave behind a legacy of kind, compassionate, and caring leadership for the men, women, and families of the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron. The 93rd is a family thanks to you. And on behalf of Michelle and I, thank you for all you have done. The support you provided Kevin and the men and women of the 93rd is evident in the family atmosphere that exists within the squadron today. Thank you. Ella May, who I met as a newborn baby some 13 years ago. We've known each other for a little while. Grace, Ruby, Levi, your dad's a pretty amazing guy. He's extremely proud of all you've done. I know it because he brags about you all the time. And that's a pretty clear indicator. I also know that he's thankful for being able to share in experiences with you the last couple years. It's been very busy, and that time has now come to an end, for a little while at least. I hope you enjoy the newfound time with your dad. I know he loves you very much and is anxious to spend some fun, quality time with you, starting immediately after the ceremony. FEMR, we crossed paths 15 years ago, back when your name was just ordinary Kevin. I remember early on in the command, you came to me and said, sir, I go by FEMR now. I said, okay, I'll work on that. So I think I've got it. I'm pretty close. So you bet. You're a brand new co-pilot, first lieutenant at Mildenhall when we first met, and you've come a long way since then. A now lieutenant colonel graduating flying squadron commander. I'm very proud to have seen you grow and develop as a leader, and I feel especially fortunate to have served with you during this difficult and challenging time for our airmen and for our country. Best of luck in the future. I know it's bright, and I'm excited for what's in store for you. Fortunately for the group, I'm privileged to receive another brilliant leader, an aviator to replace Femur, Lieutenant Colonel Scott Davis. Scott's a career mobility pilot amassing over 800 combat hours in both the KC-135 and C-17, earned on multiple combat deployments in the U.S. Central Command Area of Responsibility. I first met Scott at the 618th AOC 3 short years ago. His commitment to duty, deep intellect, and demonstrated leadership stood out just as much as they did then as they do now. Scott's outstanding performance and credential is evident throughout his career. Starting off as a KC-135 pilot at McConnell Air Force Base, he quickly established himself as a leader amongst his peers. Serving as an executive officer, upgrading to instructor pilot quickly, and leading twice as a flight commander, responsible for both squadron readiness and squadron training. Overall, leading in the toughest positions within our air refueling squadrons. Not to be satisfied with those accomplishments, Scott then moved to Altus Air Force Base, the flight training unit for all new KC-135 aviators, where he quickly rose to become the chief of KC-135 standardization and evaluation for the group, a position reserved for the best. Following that, he was quickly snatched up by the wing commander to help lead the commander's action group, where he was recognized as the 97th Air Refueling Wing's CGO of the Year, as well as their number 1 of 35 major selects. His record of outstanding performance resulted in his selection to crossflow to the C-17 through Air Mobility Command's Phoenix Reach program. I won't spend a lot of time talking about his time in that airframe at Travis Air Force Base, other than to say he crushed it there too. And we opted to bring him into the KC-135 OG leadership team despite his time as a transport pilot. Just kidding, Scott. His time flying was put on pause so the U.S. Air Force could develop his leadership and critical thinking skills, which took place at our Air Mobility Command, our Air Command and Staff College. He completed that rigorous program with ease, walking away as a distinguished graduate, graduating with academic distinction, and was recognized by his flight as the most outstanding team member. After school, Scott was handpicked to serve at the largest air operations center in the U.S. Air Force as the deputy chief of the Air Refueling Division. Welcome back to the air refueling world. The AOC commander saw what he was capable of and brought him to his front office, where he served under 2 general officers as their executive officer, earning recognition as the number 1 of 46 lieutenant colonels in that gargantuan organization. Well done. Scott now joins the 92nd Operations Group after serving as the wing's chief of safety. Scott, thank you for supporting and executing our motorcycle runway dashes. Those events will be one of the highlights of my experience here at Fairchild Air Force Base. Well done. So thankful to be able to officiate this ceremony, not only to get to welcome Scott to the 92nd Operations Group family, but I also get a chance to meet more of the Davis clan. No doubt, distant relatives. And there's a lot of us. It's a very uncommon name, too, so I'm surprised that so many are here at the same time. When's the next family reunion? Any chance I'll get an invite this time around? Maybe? I don't know. But that's okay. I'll pass my address on later just in case that happens. So, Alyssa, it's wonderful that you're able to come back to the Pacific Northwest, your home, and serve here with Scott. Your commitment to him, your family, our nation, and now the airmen of the 93rd is powerful and very much appreciated. Hannah and Joshua, I know you're proud of your dad, as you should be. He's a great American and a fine officer. You'll now have to share him with about 100 or so new family members. But don't worry, Hannah. He'll still have time to teach you how to drive. As long as you're a good student. He can teach people how to fly. He can probably teach you how to drive. That's what I'm thinking. And Josh, he'll still be at your soccer games once they start up again, which is hopefully soon. Scott, having so much of your family here to share in this moment is amazing. Your mom, dad, brother, sister-in-law, and nephews, Alyssa's mom, dad, sister, and brother's presence is a testament to how blessed you are and how much they care about you. Family is so important. They are the reasons we serve. And you have plenty of reasons in the audience here today. Thank you for being here. Scott, your demonstrated leadership, record of performance, and strong desire to serve make you the perfect fit for the challenges that lay ahead as you take command. Leading the amazing men and women of the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron, welcome to the team. It's now time to continue our ceremony. Thank you for attending, and we'll see you later.
Thank you, Colonel Davis. Ladies and gentlemen present in the room, please stand. Today, on behalf of Colonel Davis, Mrs. Parsons will present and honor her husband, Lieutenant Colonel Parsons, for his military achievements. Will both of you please come forward and join Colonel Davis for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal. Attention orders. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Executive Order 16 January 1969, has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, 3rd Oak Leaf Cluster, to Lieutenant Colonel Kevin L. Parsons for meritorious service, 6 July 2018 to 23 June 2020. Lieutenant Colonel Kevin L. Parsons distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander of 93rd Air Refueling Squadron, 92nd Operations Group, 92nd Air Refueling Wing, Fairchild Air Force Base, Washington. During this period, the superior leadership of Colonel Parsons had a global impact through his development of deployed leaders to include a squadron commander, 2 detachment commanders, and 3 operations officers, all of whom led more than 550 deployed airmen who amassed more than 100,000 hours of combat operations across 6 areas of responsibility. Colonel Parsons demonstrated his personal mastery of tanker operations through his continued contributions by overseeing the construction of robust command, control, and airborne communication network utilizing the KC-135's roll-on, beyond line-of-sight enhancement and tanker airborne long-range communication equipment. The Smart Endeavor expanded the United States' capabilities in global command and control operations and earned Colonel Parsons a wing nomination for the Air Force Association Multi-Domain Operations Award. Over the course of his command, the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron sustained a mission readiness rate of excess of 96%, executed more than 3,000 missions, ensured the full spectrum readiness of more than 100 airmen, and garnered the nomination of the General Carl A. Spaatz Trophy, recognizing the wing's top air refueling squadron. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Parsons reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander, 93rd Air Refueling Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Parsons, will now give his final remarks.
Okay, well, that's a tough act to follow, sir. Thank you for all the kind words. I really appreciate it. Domini Artis, Masters of the Art. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve alongside each and every one of you. Now that it's over, I don't really know what to say. What do you say at the end of one of life's most challenging and rewarding experiences? I'll start with thank you. First and foremost, all thanks to God for the unsurpassing grace He has given to bring me to and through this command. In that same light, Chaplain Bishop, thank you for your heartfelt invocation, and thank you for getting this ceremony kicked off right. Captain Escobedo, Captain Brown, Captain Schenk, and of course, Captain Tremble, thank you for your hard work in bringing this together. Thank you for narrating. Thank you for overcoming the odds that are stacked against us right now to get this beautiful group together to celebrate this occasion. Sergeant Cunningham, thank you for the beautiful rendition of the national anthem. All right, and Colonel Salmi and Chris out there, if you're in the virtual audience, Rebecca and I truly appreciate your unflinching example of servant leadership and the care that you show the Fairchild families. Colonel Jacobus, it's been a pleasure having you as an honorary member of the 93rd. Thank you for your support. Look forward to your continued flying with our team. Chief Hodges, thank you for caring about your airmen. It shows in everything you do. Colonel Davis and Michelle, saw you out there. Don't know if you're in the room anymore, but thank you just doesn't do it justice. Your mentorship and your leadership has done more for myself and Rebecca than you two will ever know. Thank you. All right, my fellow squadron commanders, especially those from the OG, your friendship, your guidance, and your aid have been invaluable to my command. Scott, thank you for rising to the challenge and giving me some relief. You're going to love it, and you're going to hate it. You too, Alyssa. But before you know it, you're going to be right here where I'm standing, wishing for just a few more days. To my DOs, Lieutenant Colonels Howlett, Webb, Rittenauer, and Nab, thank you for your leadership of our ops team. You led them to perfection, and you proved time and again that the 93rd leads the way in air mobility. To the rest of the OG DOs out there, thank you for working as a team and getting the mission done. So there are countless more that no doubt deserve my thanks. But for now, I'm going to limit it to just the most important that still remain. LMA, Grace, Ruby, and Levi, look up from your book, honey. You have given so much of yourselves the last 2 years. You've had innumerable late night dinners just so that we could eat together as a family. You've given up weekends to take care of Squadron business. You've helped me realize my dream of making the 93rd a family. You have made me so proud. Rebecca, thank you for being my partner, confidant, and firm foundation. I have to admit, I'm a little jealous because I know that you'll be missed more than I will. But that bragging right is well deserved because I have never seen such a dedicated command spouse or key spouse mentor. You led with your heart. You left everything on the field. Well done, babe. Finally, and most importantly, to the men and women of the mighty 93rd, the proud Pegasi, the flying foals of freedom. You've proven to me time and again that you are the best there is. Let me recount some of your key accomplishments over the past couple of years. A team of 10 gathering more than 400 pounds of yard waste for a deployed spouse. 4 guys chopping over a cord of wood for another deployed spouse. 93rd helping 93rd with multiple household moves, washers and dryers assembled or connected, IKEA furniture assembled, and innumerable deployed spouse driveways shoveled. In summary, you took care of each other. Oh, and by the way, you did it while maintaining the top mission readiness and full spectrum readiness in the OG and executing the Wing's first squadron deployment in over a decade, which is still ongoing for those of you in the audience who didn't catch that from the previous speeches. Pushing 7 months now. All right. Not to mention the Wing nominations for the Spats Trophy, ATA Young Leadership Awards, the Heiser, the McKay, that Air Warfare Symposium nomination that Colonel Davis mentioned, that wasn't just me, that was a team effort. I am so proud of you, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. And now, as I pass the reins to the very capable hands of Lieutenant Colonel Davis, I can do so with confidence that you will carry on as you have. Because I didn't make you who you are. You did that. And it will continue on as long as you fight to be the masters of the art. Now, to answer my opening question, what do you say at the end of one of life's most challenging and rewarding experiences? Well, I can only think of one thing. Horse and a bird. 93rd! Dominique Artis, Pegasi.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Parsons. At this time, the men and women of the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron, represented today by the Operations Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Jason Knabb, wish to render one last salute to their outgoing commander. Traditionally, the change of command and responsibility is symbolically marked by the relinquishment of the unit guidon by the outgoing commander to the presiding official, who then presents the guidon and thus authority to the incoming commander, while the official party will not physically pass the guidon due to health guidelines. the spirit of transferring complete and total responsibility from one commander to the next still remains. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the change of command ceremony. Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force, Headquarters, 92nd Air Refueling Wing, Fairchild Air Force Base, Washington. Special Order, Golf Sierra 20005. Subject, change of command. Under the provision of the Air Force Instruction 51604 and effective 18 June 2020, Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Parsons is relieved of command of the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron, and Lieutenant Colonel Scott Davis assumes command.
Sir, I assume command.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is my honor to present to you the Commander, 93rd Air Refueling Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Scott Davis.
All right, good morning. Thank you. Colonel Salmi, Colonel Jacobus, Chief Hodges, thank you for being here today. Colonel Davis, Chief Inman, thank you for representing the ops group today. Sergeant Cunningham, thank you for that amazing rendition of our anthem. Beto, Tucker, wherever you guys are, Santa, Jamie, thank you for going above and beyond to put this ceremony together in an unprecedented time. To all those tuning in virtually, welcome, and thank you for sharing in this occasion with us. Thank you to my family, who, despite everything going on, made the trip out here. Mom, Dad, Eric and Molly, Beth, Bruce, Kylan, John, Brandon. We're blessed to live so close to you right now. We're grateful for your love and support over the last 16 years and are honored to have you here today. Mom and Dad, you've guided me through life and molded me into the man that I am. You knew since I was 5 years old that I was determined to join the Air Force, and you've been there at every step along the way. You are the epitome of supportive parents. Thank you. Alyssa, Hannah, Joshua, you are my world. You did not choose this life, but you've embraced it and excelled in every possible way. You never cease to amaze me in your ability to jump in, make the most of every assignment with unwavering support. I would not be standing here today without you, and I'm excited to bring the 93rd into our family. Colonel Salmi, Colonel Davis, thank you for this opportunity and putting the trust in me to lead the Pegasus. It's truly an honor to be given the privilege to command such an incredible squadron. Femur, little did we know, as young captains in the 350th with a Staff Sergeant Klaus, that a mere 10 years later, we'd be standing here today. I've had the privilege over the last year of watching you and Becca lead the 93rd to new heights. It's very evident you've both poured your hearts into this squadron and have clearly made it better as a result. Thank you both for your leadership and your friendship. Alyssa and I are honored to be taking the reins from you. To the mighty Pegasus, I've also spent the last year witnessing your achievements and capabilities. I've had the opportunity to work with a number of you, and I quickly discovered that the squadron is filled with exceptional people, surpassing every expectation laid before you. You are a tight-knit family of professional airmen with a proud heritage, continually reaffirming your motto, Domini Artis, Masters of the Art. Our challenge today and going forward is maintaining the balance between people, mission, and culture in the midst of an unprecedented time in our nation's history. As we emerge from an historic pandemic, the largest tanker deployment in history, and civil unrest, this will be no easy task. It will take every one of us standing together and supporting one another in unity. I know each of you are capable of leading us through this, and we will come out better, stronger, and more capable on the other side. Alyssa and I are truly honored to join the Pegasus family in this adventure and look forward to a bright future. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Davis. At this time, the men and women of the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron, represented today by the Operations Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Jason Knabb, wish to render a first salute to their incoming commander. Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women of the mighty 93rd are proud to have served Lieutenant Colonel Parsons. We wish him and his family the best of luck in their journey. We also welcome Lieutenant Colonel Davis and his family to the 93rd Air Refueling Squadron. Thank you for all those who've joined us online and for those who made today's ceremony possible. Please stand and join us in singing the Air Force song. The words are on the back of your program, and please remain standing for the departure of the official party.
We go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, soon to meet our thunder. Adam down, give him the gun, give him the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flames from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame, we go down in flames. Hey! Nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.